Like the video and subscribe to our channel right now and get 1 week of amazing luck. From a man who uses a lighter at a gas station to a man who forgets to use a car handbrake and a man who crashes a car into a store. Here are the 10 extreme moments caught on gas station CCTV. Number 10. Motorcycle on fire. In the province of Jiangxi, the city of Jian, China is a prefecture. About 4.4 million people call it home, along with one courageous gas station employee. Several motorcyclists pulled up to a Jian city pump on July 9, 2018. One of these was an electric tricycle, a common means of moving goods through congested areas. Everyone turned on their engines at the same time and was ready to go. Then, all hell broke loose. As soon as our driver starts the engine, the bike fires. He gets off, and everyone runs out of the hazardous situation. In the meantime, our petrol station attendant extinguishes the fire in 12 seconds by grabbing a fire extinguisher. Another worker runs over to shut the pumps off, but it's probably too little too late. Once they're sure the fire is out, the driver and his buddies push the burnt tricycle out of the way. Luckily, nobody was hurt, and our employees' quick thinking likely avoided a major accident. It's unclear what started the fire. If we had to guess, it was probably an electrical problem. Number 9. CO2 rain from a gas station ceiling. In Massachusetts' Norfolk County, Quincy is a seaside city. Approximately 100,000 individuals reside there, immediately south of Boston. A neighborhood Stop and Shop gas station experienced an incident on July 2, 2020, that left the impression of snow falling in the middle of summer. That was not, however, freshly fallen snow. A heavy layer of white foam covered the petrol station as a result of a malfunctioning fire suppression system. The good news is the fire suppression is operating as it should. The bad news is that a cloud of CO2 covered everyone who was pumping gas. Police reported that a few persons experienced breathing difficulties when they became caught, but no one was harmed. According to a Stop and Shop spokesperson, the suppression system misfired due to a faulty heat detector. It must have been thought that the sweltering July heat was actually a blazing gas station fire. The next time you're filling up the gas, raise an eye to the ceiling. Not all of those nozzles are your typical sprinklers. These are unique hoses that are attached to concealed canisters on the roof. They discharge sodium bicarbonate, or baking soda, when they sense a fire. It combines with an acidic ingredient to make carbon dioxide, which helps smother flames under the roof. Getting covered in it can cause shortness of breath and skin irritation, but it's better than being on fire. Number 8. Illegal gas cylinder. Gas is expensive. To save money, most individuals ride public transit or carpool. Some attempt to get around the rules in order to save money on fuel. Consider the Brazilian who installed an illegal natural gas tank in his Volkswagen vehicle. There were security cameras placed outside a Maracanã gas station. The attendant started pumping into the illegal tank as soon as our driver arrived. What happened could have cost both men their lives. Fortunately, none were harmed. The car is filling with gas and both men are standing awkwardly. The illegal tank suddenly bursts, sending debris hurtling in all directions. The attendant cuts the line, and the driver takes off for the hills. Gas is seen erupting from the car like a boiling tea kettle before he does. The owner reportedly built an unlawful gas tank that did not adhere to safety standards. Natural gas can be used to power cars, but it's not as convenient or secure as gasoline. Natural gas has to be stored under pressure. A small leak might cause a large explosion. The unlawful tank was launched approximately 200 feet away by this explosion due to its immense power. It damaged a wall and struck another car before stopping. We can't say if the driver was arrested or faced any charges. The damage to his car was probably punishment enough. It was probably more expensive than a few gallons of gas. Number 7. Car smashes into the store. Township of Brandon. A small town in Oakland County, Michigan is called Brandon Township. About 15,000 people calls it home, and it's located about 30 miles north of Detroit. One of those individuals made the decision to indulge in a few beers at the nearby BP gas station. As you can guess, that was a bad idea. It happened on October 24, 2019. William, our driver, went into the petrol station early in the morning and purchased a six-pack. He was known as a regular client by the cashier, who took it in stride. William was back in the store a little while later. Simply put, he wasn't walking this time. William's truck crashes through the windows as it speeds across the parking lot. Two onlookers are in shock at what they just witnessed. They set off to look into it. One of them then flees. We presume to dial 911. William tries to remove his truck's license plate off inside the fueling station. Your license plate is securely attached, as you are aware. It will take a lot of strength to remove it with your bare hands, but William is afraid and determined. In addition, he's high on adrenaline. Take a moment to admire the carnage as William gathers himself. The aftermath of these incidents is rarely seen in such excellent condition. William gives the license plate one last tug before collapsing to the ground. Before the cops come, he leaves the site. They located and arrested him later on. William said his new tires were to blame since they spin quickly. He flew into the store after losing control and hitting the curb. He was so shocked that he reasoned that stealing the license plate would support him. Number 6. Man with lighter. A lot of people these days fear spiders. In actuality, arachnophobia affects as much as 15% of people. Their initial reaction upon seeing one is to either run away or squish it. And then there's this Detroit, Michigan guy who elevated the meme, "Kill it with fire," to a whole new level. At a nearby petrol station, he spotted something unsettling on his car. Rather than focus on it, he took out his lighter. His car and the pump caught fire in an instant. Fortunately, before it caused additional damage, he had enough time to move the car and get a fire extinguisher. One of the gas station workers, meantime, was watching the entire thing from outside. After flipping the emergency shutoff, she made a fire department call. What the hell was this guy thinking? Was the question that was asked by all of them. If he was truly arachnophobic, the sight of a spider could trigger overwhelming anxiety. Spiders would dominate his thoughts. He could lose focus and think irrationally. So irrationally that lighting it on fire near a gas tank sounds like a good idea. According to employees, he returned the next day and apologized for destroying the pump. Number 5. Car rolled in pond. Although it's vital to your car's safety, we'll wager you don't use your parking brake very often. Just 10% of drivers of automatic cars apply their parking brakes when they park, according to a survey. Most only use it when they park on steep inclines. However, every time you park, you should apply your parking brake, according to Firestone, Nationwide, and AAA. This driver didn't catch that notification as they drove up for gas in 2009. Their automobile chose to take off when they were filling up a red can. The location of this video is unknown. The location is a petrol station with a little pond situated between the road and the pumps. That's all we know. Our driver exits the vehicle and parks it. He plays around a little with the gas can, not realizing that his car is rolling up behind him. If he had looked back, he could have put an end to it before something negative occurred. Rather, he begins to pump. How this guy didn't hear his automobile pulling away is beyond us. He doesn't appear to be wearing any headphones at all. Perhaps he heard it and thought it was a different car approaching. He knows he put his car in park, after all. His car picks up speed and rolls into the pond. He looks up, yet still seems oblivious. He even keeps pumping gas while some bikers run over to investigate. Soon, our oblivious driver dropped the pump and checked on his car. Maybe next time, he'll remember to engage his parking brake. Number 4. Gas station worker with fire extinguisher. How ignorant must one be to puff on a cigarette while filling up with gas? Signs are everywhere. The entire petrol station can catch fire with only one spark. A Bulgarian petrol station owner was astounded to see a carload of idiots pull up smoking cigarettes. The arrogant youngster would not listen to him when he politely asked the passenger to put it out. Thus, our owner decided to handle things himself. Pay attention to the car on the right. You can see the passenger's cigarette as he sticks his hand out the window. He exits and continues to huff. At that point, the proprietor urges him to extinguish his cigarette. We assume that when he originally said it gently, the child just didn't want to listen. With a plume of smoke, he mocks the owner, as though to say, "What, you gonna do something about it?" How is the proverb, "Be careful what you wish for," going? After going around the vehicle, the owner grabs a fire extinguisher. The child continues to stare and smoke. This guy is definitely not going to spray him, but that's precisely what occurs. The funny part is how this kid stands there and takes it. His passengers flee the car as it fills up with clouds. Meanwhile, the guy pumping gas is either clueless or actively ignoring the situation. Maybe this brat will put out a cigarette next time before pulling into the station. Number 3. Landslide on petrol station. China's Penggan County is a hilly region in the Sichuan province. About 720,000 people live there, and their only means of transportation between towns is via narrow mountain roads. For traffic to continue flowing on those roadways, there must be a sufficient number of petrol stations. Regretfully, it increases the risk to landslides. A few commuters were filling up their cars on July 18, 2019, when they heard something strange on the hillside. When they looked up, they saw a huge landslide approaching them directly. After what we thought was a strong East Asian downpour, water began dripping down the roof. The camera then starts to shake. Rocks plummet from the mountain. Even the camera is struck by one. The petrol station is then covered by a massive wave of dirt, trees, and debris that crashes downward. As the landslide starts, you can see people running from another angle. Sadly, there isn't much space for them to run. Beyond that guardrail is nothing but a precipitous drop. A trail of dirt shoots across the road, almost taking some bystanders out. Fortunately, no one was harmed, not even the little dog. Reports state that one of the gasoline lines, a tiny dwelling, and 2 motorcycles were damaged in the avalanche. A tiny gas leak occurred, but it was contained by staff. Police arrived later and evacuated nearby residents. They didn't want to risk another landslide causing any more damage. Number 2. Bear at the gas station. Gas station owners Jay and Karen enjoy living in their small Canadian town of Lake Cowichan. Located near the southern tip of Vancouver Island, they serve to a diverse clientele that comes to enjoy the water. However, on October 9, 2023, a different kind of customer entered their tiny business. Around 6:30 a.m., a large black bear was seen ambling into the store, as filmed by security cameras installed throughout. Mr. Black Bear made his way straight to the candy aisle, suggesting that he had a sweet tooth. The bear strolls through an open doorway and onto the patio. The bear started going through the candies while Jay was enjoying his coffee behind the bar. As it happens, it picks up a pack of gummy bears and proceeds down another aisle. When the camera pans, we see Jay behind the counter. The bear wanders off camera, yet he never takes his eyes off of it. Jay goes outside to solve the issue after grabbing a batch. Fortunately, the bear left before he could take any drastic or foolish action. In 16 years of operating the business, Jay claimed nothing like this had ever occurred. He did get scared when the bear was grabbing at the gummies. It would have pinned Jay in the register booth if it had walked around the shelf. Number 1. Angry man with snake. There are constructive and destructive ways to release rage. Some draw in long breaths, find their composure, and approach the matter logically. Some individuals fly off the handles. One guy in Gujarat, India, uses snakes. Wait, what? July 13, 2020, was the date. A local Indian man came to a gas station with a friend to purchase fuel. He merely needed a water bottle full. The fact that it was beyond 3-page M was the only issue. COVID-19 restrictions in India forced businesses to close in the early afternoon. The staff said there was nothing they could do, and that made him angry. Our furious client arrives from the right, 2 huge jars in hand. Both are teeming with snakes, though it's difficult to tell from here. The guys walking away from the station are probably thinking, "What is this crazy dude doing?" He tips one of the jars open to release the snakes. He throws them all over the floor and goes through another door. According to rumors, there were 2 venomous cobras in the jars. The fact that everyone just watches this unfold is astounding. But then, would you approach a furious man with snake jars close to you? The snake can be seen sliding out of the store and into the corner in video footage. The woman turns around and says, "Nope." The man became upset and ran away. A rescue worker showed up in the meanwhile to help the snakes go back into the jars. Fortunately, no one was bitten or wounded. We're not sure what happened to the snakes at this point, but perhaps they were transported to a secure location.